Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Mixed Texan Report. So, food bank demand rising amid soaring inflation. A dollar does not stretch as far any longer. Yes, this is not a shocker here. So, I came across this when I was watching Fox Business, and I found this video to show you guys talking about food banks, how the lines are getting longer. Food banks are having to distribute more because inflation is eating up everybody's pocketbook, and people are having to resort to food banks to eat. Now, check this out. It's a video. It's about 2 minutes and 48 seconds long. If you don't mind, take a listen. Here we go.
Grocery prices have risen by 12% in just the last 12 months, and that has got lines of food banks growing longer by the day. Lydia Hu joins us this morning with that story. And Lydia, are the food banks able to keep up with the demand?
Hi there, Ashley. Yes, they're able to keep up with demand for now, but with inflation running at a 41-year high, there are real concerns about how much longer they can stretch the dollar to meet what is a growing demand. You can see a food bank line here stretching and forming just behind me. I can tell you this line of senior citizens started forming before 8 o'clock this morning for a distribution that began only a little while ago at around 9:30. These folks needing help to get some of their basics, produce, meats, canned vegetables. Now, the Food Bank of New York City here has seen a 93% increase in the number of visitors now than before the pandemic. They said at the start of this year, they were hopeful that the need would dissipate because people are returning to work. But instead, with rampant inflation, they've seen the reverse. The need has only grown. Watch this.
There are new sort of entrants to the food insecurity space, and people that are really having to navigate this. And it's quite simply because a dollar does not stretch as far any longer.
And the need is evident across the country, Ashley. You can see here some examples. A food bank in Phoenix, Arizona, for example, says it's been distributing 70% more.
By the way, those numbers are astronomical. 78% for Phoenix, Arizona. That's unacceptable.
Handouts this week and in a recent week in June than over a similar week about a year ago. And inflation, they say, is not only exacerbating demand, but it's also challenging their supply. The cost of monthly food purchases for a pantry in Alameda, California, has gone from $250,000 before the pandemic to $1.5 million now. Feeding America is the country's largest hunger relief organization, and it says food banks are purchasing nearly as much food as they did last year, but they're now paying 40% more now for those same purchases. Here in New York City, the food bank, like I said, they're still able to meet the needs of people for now, but they are trying to scale back and adjust their budget because inflation is so high. But doing so without leaving people hungry is a real problem that they're confronting at this moment. Ashley.
Now, you saw the numbers. That's rough right there. You see cities like Phoenix, Los Angeles, Houston, all increasing in food distribution at these food banks. The lines are getting longer. I have a little bit of experience with stuff like this. So about 10 years ago, actually it was almost 10 years ago to the date. Next month, actually, I fell on hard times, but it wasn't due to the economy or anything like that. It was just, something happened. It was unfortunate, and I wasn't prepared for it financially and fell on hard times. And so it got to the point where I didn't have money to eat. I couldn't buy any food. So what I did was I found a local church that was giving out bread and fruit, things like that. And I sat inside of a church for about an hour waiting for them to prepare it to hand out this food. And it was a tough lesson to learn. You just had to be prepared for things like that. But this situation is different. This situation is due to incompetence and stupid policies put in place, and printing massive amounts of money, handing out checks, making people stay at home. That's a result of this is what happens. Stopping gas pipelines, Keystone pipelines and oil and gas leases, things like that, causing the price of gas to skyrocket, and people can't afford to meet the basic needs. So now we're seeing things like this, and it doesn't stop here. Um, Look at this: food trucks battling higher gas costs. The days of $2 tacos and $3 sandwiches are over, according to the National Food Truck Association. So, as the summer food trucks are heading into their busy season and owners are feeling the pinch of rising costs of supplies and ingredients, but also grappling over fuel to keep fryers going. With the average price of gasoline sitting at $4.52 and diesel at $5.53 per gallon, respectively, many food truck operators are having to pay over $100 at a time to fill their 20-gallon tanks. That has got to be rough. Here goes the founding president of National Food Truck Association. It's not just the cost of food, it's the cost of running that truck, which is a lot of times much more expensive than running just a small, quick serve restaurant. One food truck operator who has been serving Mediterranean eats on 51st and Park Avenue for over 50 years is forking over $1,000 a month on fuel alone, more than double on gas expenses last year. The electricity bill is also doubling. Here goes the president of Uncle Gussie's food truck. He says, "It truly hurts every time I go to the gas pump. We're paying double the price of gas for what we're paying. It's insane." Goes on to say that he's had to raise prices. He has yet to raise prices on the menu instead of taking loss of profits. So he's not even increasing the prices on his customers because he doesn't want to lose customers. That's why he's doing that. But he's just taking that loss himself. And it's kind of you kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do you raise the prices on your customers and hurt them at the same time so you can make up this extra expenses on your food and stuff like that? Or do you just hope that you get more business, hope that prices go down, and just absorb those costs and then you just pay it out of your pocket? That's insane right there. U.S. inflation reached a four-decade high of 9.1%. Food prices have increased even faster. Food costs jumped 10.4% in June compared to last year, according to data from the Labor Department. Certain categories, including staple ingredients for Uncle Gussie's traditional Greek offerings like gyros and Slovakia, saw large gains. The price of chicken surged 19% in the past year, the largest increase ever. However, not all food trucks are able to absorb the cost. Mitos, a Brazilian food truck specializing in barbecue fusion, is paying 40% more for gas from a year ago, up from $45 to around $115 daily. Wow. Yes, that's wow, daily. The surging cost of fuel and pumping brakes on catering for events. Mitos owner and chef Daniel, I can't pronounce his last name, I'm sorry, tells Fox Business that he has to decline 30 to 40% of the events they're asked to do. We literally say we cannot do it. If my price was 100 people, $1,200, we'll be there, we'll serve them. Today it must be 15 or 16 people. Wow. Wow. 15 or 16 or 17,000, I'm sorry. Wow. This is out of control. He's also paying more for propane to generate power for the 4 to 5 refrigerators. The days of $2 tacos and $3 sandwiches are gone for food trucks. I don't know about you where you live, where you listen to this right now. But I know New York City, uh, they're big on food trucks, and there are plenty out here where I live too in certain areas. And I understand these people have to make a living. They have a business to run. The fuel, the cost of just, you know, the food prep and all that you pay your employees, the propane, electricity to keep that thing running. It's not cheap. It seems like it'll be something easy to do, but when you really get down to into it, I mean, just the idea of I could put together a food truck, sell food out of the truck, keep my overhead low. But no, these guys pay a lot of money to keep these things running. Um, it's really unfortunate, and I hope, I hope that whoever these guys are, these food trucks, I don't know who they voted for, but I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed that these guys, if they vote for the wrong candidates that don't have their best interests at heart, um, I really hope they don't make that same mistake in November, and then again in 2024. This should be a massive wake up call to everybody, especially these business owners and people staying these food lines. I'm fortunate to not have to do that at this point anymore in my life, and I feel for the people that have families and maybe they just lost their job, but the job doesn't pay them that much. The hours got cut, and they have 3 kids. Those are the people that are really struggling in my mind. I've been pretty transparent about this. I don't have children, so this is not something I have to worry about. But the people who have families, who have 2 or 3 kids and drive 30, 40 miles to work and drop your kids off at daycare, things like that. You're driving an SUV. I feel for people that are, just barely making ends meet, you know? But then you have this idiot president of ours always blaming everybody but himself. This guy can never take any responsibility for anything, But I like the fact that his administration is getting grilled. They're getting put on the spot for this. Biden blames Putin for everything. The Putin price hike. You can just type in on your search engine or whatever you look, Biden blames Putin for gas, Putin price hike. And you see a bunch of articles pop up that talk about him blaming Putin and the invasion of Ukraine for these gas prices. He blames Putin for everything that goes wrong as far as inflation and gas. But if you haven't seen this, this is great right here.
Watch this.
Aren't you having it both ways, Jared? Because when the gas prices go up, it's got nothing to do with the president. When we see some decline, you want him to get the credit.
Look, I think that there's no both-way thinking here at all. The president has reacted from the beginning, talking about how this was such an important priority. He then presided over the largest historical release of barrels of oil from the strategic reserve.
It was Putin's fault. When they're coming down, he gets the credit.
Yeah, I very much disagree with that framing.
All right, Carl, you go ahead and frame it, huh?
Oh my gosh, these people are so stupid. So, the Putin price hike. Biden takes no responsibility. He acts like he has no control of this. And this dumb guy whoever he is, this Biden administration official, he's so dumb. He says that he's presided over the largest strategic reserve release. That's nothing to be proud of. Why are we releasing our oil reserves? Why are we doing that? Why not just drill, and drill? We were producing 13.5 million barrels a day under Trump of oil. 13.5 million barrels of oil a day. So, what's the problem? But this is all by design. This is self-inflicted. Like I said, they've stopped these oil and gas leases. these permits, the Keystone Pipeline, and this could have all been avoided, you know. And of course, the gas price is going to go down when you slam the brakes in the economy. We're heading into a recession if we're not already in one. You know, a lot of people do feel like we are in a recession. We'll see what happens with the second quarter, with the GDP numbers coming out. If it's 2 quarters in a row of negative, growth, then that's officially, by definition, in a recession. But there are some people who think we've been in one for the last 5.5 months or so. You know, we have this 40-year high inflation. You know, gas out of control. People are starting to get laid off from their jobs. Yes, some companies are doing layoffs right now. They have people standing in these food lines at these food banks. People cannot afford to buy food for their food truck. They're having a tough time covering the costs, and a lot of people are worried about going out of business. So we're living in tough times right now. It's been worse. This is not a depression. I don't know where this is going. I don't think it's going to get to depression status. I hope not, but I think we're going to see a downturn, and some people are going to suffer from it. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. But November is coming. As Larry Kudlow says, the cavalry is coming, folks. So get to the polls. Let's make this massive red wave happen and turn this mess around. All right, guys, I'm going to end the video right there. It's late. I'm going to get some rest, but I just wanted to record that and to shed some light on what's going on around the country. You know, we have people standing in food lines. Food banks are distributing much more food than they were last year. So it's not looking good, folks. But keep your head up, and we'll turn this around. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.